Hey guys, this is Jeff Stanek with Figured Out Baseball, and this chart is what I want to talk to you about today. So, what am I holding up? Well, as many of you high school players out there right now are trying to make your decisions or are about to start getting some offers and things like that about where you're going to play in college, it's important to understand what you're getting into. Now, I've recruited long enough in college to know that many of you are what they call D1 or bust, meaning, if you get a Division II, a JUCO, an NAIA offer, a D3 school that's really, really interested in you, you'll pass that up waiting for the Division I offer. So I thought this was an important thing to cover. I want to thank my guys at Erskine, the Erskine Flying Fleet, for the hoodie I'm wearing today, and I guess the state of South Carolina for my hat. But this chart is what I want to show you, okay? And this was freehand, so, take it with a grain of salt, but this is important to understand. Now, what am I showing you here? I'm showing you how the different levels of college baseball match up with one another and how they rate. Now, again, freehand, but just follow along here. Okay, do my best here. First of all, at the top of the scale, Division I. Because of NIL money, there are no other teams at any other level besides Division I that can compete with the top Division I teams. Some of those teams now, because they're able to pay their guys tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe more, I don't know. But a lot of money in addition to their scholarship to go play for them. The top Division I teams are without a doubt better than any other level. But you see this crudely drawn black line here, okay? It's important to understand how the rest of Division I matches up, okay? These lines sort of indicate some different things. First of all, with Division I to Division II, there are a lot of Division II teams out there that are as good as Division I teams as far as the pure talent. And I'm talking if the better Division II teams in the country matched up with, the bottom third of maybe even the bottom half of Division I teams in the country in a 5-game series, you would see Division II teams that could compete. Now I'm talking the best Division II teams, okay? Now, if you look at this, again, crudely drawn chart, you're talking about like the top half of Division II could compete with the bottom half of Division I. Okay, that means like the best Division II team in the country could probably compete with what are there, 300 Division I teams, could probably compete with the 150th team in the country. The Division II team roughly in the middle of the pack, that's a slightly above 500 team, could compete with the worst Division I team in the country. Okay, and you get the idea there, right? The best Division III team in the country, can you see this little crudely drawn black line? The best Division III team in the country can compete with the bottom, I don't know what the exact numbers, the bottom 5%, maybe the bottom 10% of Division Is in the country. That might be hard for you to believe, but if it is hard for you to believe, it's because you haven't seen the best Division III teams in the country, nor have you seen the worst Division I teams in the country. The problem with this whole thing with many of you recruits is that you haven't actually seen these teams play. Go out and watch the teams that are near you. You don't have to travel all over the place. Go and watch the Division II, the Division III, the Division I, NAIA, junior college, whatever you have around you. Go watch those teams and see where they are in the standings year after year, and you'll get an idea about this, that this is reality. This is reality. The best Division III teams in the country can compete with the worst Division I teams in the country. So just saying you went Division I is not always that great. Sometimes you could have gone to a Division III team and had better talent. And not only that, if you go to the best Division III team in the country, you got a chance to win a national championship. Whereas if you go to the worst Division I team in the country, you got a chance to finish last in your conference every year and be in the bottom 5 or 10 percentile in RPI in the country. That's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun to go 8-43 every year, or whatever the bottom teams go, or worse than that. All right. Now, something else I wanted to point out. A couple other things. JUCO. Where does JUCO fit into this? The best JUCO teams in the country, are better than the best Division III teams in the country. Okay? The best the best junior college teams in the country are not as good as the top handful of 5 to 10 D2 teams in the country, but they're as good or better than the rest of the Division II teams in the country. Okay, you do have some upper echelon Division II that are better than even the best JUCO, and that's because they're probably just as talented, but they have juniors and seniors, whereas JUCOs don't. Okay? The best JUCO teams in the country can compete with many, many Division I teams. The bottom third of Division I, the best JUCO teams in the country can beat the bottom third Division I teams in the country. Again, in a 5-game series, they'd have a pretty good chance of winning. All right? The worst Division I teams in the country are still better than most of the Division IIIs. The worst Division I team in the country is still better than a lot of Division IIs, JUCOs, and NAIAs. Okay? The worst Division III, the worst JUCO, and the worst NAIA programs in the country are all pretty similar. The worst Division II teams in the country are probably still better. Well, I know that they're better than. The worst Division II teams in the country are still better than the worst Division IIIs, the worst JUCOs, the worst NAIAs. So this level is slightly higher overall, whereas D1 is a lot higher overall. Then you get to NAIA, which many of you are not familiar with. NAIA is a very unique level. If you're not familiar with it, it only really exists in like certain pockets of the country. If there's no NAIA baseball near you, but an NAIA team reaches out, it is worth your time to go watch those teams play. You will get a lot of really good players who weren't very good academically out of high school going to NAIA out of high school. You'll get a lot of junior college guys who are going to NAIA because their scholarship situation is much better there. You will get Division I kickbacks who either weren't playing or were D1 ineligible and they can be eligible in NAIA. You just have a lot of very diverse players and teams. So if you look at NAIA, again, the crudely drawn black line, the best NAIA teams in the country would fit into the top half of Division I teams in the country. And frankly, the best NAIA teams in the country are better than the best D2s, better than the best JUCOs. If you don't believe me, go watch some of the best NAIA teams in the country. They're legit. Really good. Okay? The worst NAIA teams are very bad, but the best NAIA teams are really good. So why am I showing you this? Why do I want you to see this? Because when you're getting recruited by schools from all these, any level, I want you to understand that if a Division III calls you, and they're a Division III team that is winning conference championships, and going into the postseason, and they're 10, 15, 20 games above 500 every year, you would be foolish not to go visit them and not to give them an honest look. If a JUCO calls you, an NAIA calls you, a D2 calls you, look into them, see what they have done, look what their track record looks like. Go visit with the coaches. If any school is legitimately interested in you, give them the time of day and see what they have. See what their coaching staff is like. See what their facilities are like. See what their coaching staff is like. Find out what their philosophy is. Find out how many guys they've had either move on to the next level or next level of college or play pro ball. Now with the transfer portal, guys, you could go to a D3 and they could say, hey, in the last 4 years, we've had 5 guys that have transferred to the D1 level after they left here. Like, that tells you something about their development, tells you something about their talent level, and it tells you that if you start at Division III and you have a great experience and you've got great coaches that help you a lot, and maybe you have a chance to go play at a really good Division I, like you might have a chance from that school. Or you might just choose to stick it out with the guys that believed in you in the first place. But especially if you're a draft. Not to get too far off topic, but think about Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens was at Air Force. Paul Skeens was a really good player. Paul Skeens went to a completely different level when he went to LSU. First overall pick, obviously spent, a year in the minor leagues and then was in the big leagues. Would he have been the first overall pick at Air Force? And this is nothing against Air Force, but probably not. He probably would have been a pretty high pick. He probably would have reached his ceiling eventually, but he probably would not have been the first overall pick in the country had he stayed at Air Force. So guys, if you're looking at the draft and the draft is a real option for you, sometimes transferring up is a great thing for you. My point is, you can start at any one of these levels and end up somewhere else if you're good enough, if you progress enough, but you can also have a really great experience while you're at a school at any of these levels. If the school likes you, they're giving you some scholarship money if they've got it. They're competitive. They have a chance to win conference championships. They send guys on to higher levels, whether it's a higher college level or pro ball or whatever. And they're consistently producing the things that are important to you, winning, getting guys better, moving guys on to the next level. Then what are you doing ignoring those schools? Pay attention to the programs that are interested in you, do your research, and you'll find some diamonds in the rough, some real quality programs at any level if you just look hard enough. That's it for today, guys. Jeff Stanek with Figured Out Baseball. Have a great day.